Sure.
We'll go ahead and call the council meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. It's nice to see you here tonight. We'll start with a prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and then roll call. Ron Jones is going to lead us in prayer tonight. Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we just pause to just thank you for this evening. Thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy, and I thank you for this great community. And I pray for everybody around this table to be fair and what's best for this village. I ask blessings on this meeting, and this I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well done. We do have air conditioning in this building. Unfortunately, I don't think it reaches this room too well.
I'll come up and control it next time.
You do that. Come early in the morning.
Yeah.
Roll call, please.
Ridgway.
Present.
Jones.
Here.
Baker.
Yep.
Bassett. Beverly.
Yes.
Barth.
Here.
Thank you. Council members, you have the August 20th regular council meeting minutes in your packet. Are there any additions or corrections?
I move we approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baker.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Thank you. You have the approved bills list in your packet. Are there any questions about any of the bills?
I'm happy about one.
If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Williams County Alliance. Is there anyone that would like to get up to the podium and take a few minutes to talk to council about why you wanted to attend the meeting tonight? Okay. And if you could state your name when you get up there so Cheryl can get it in the minutes, that would be great.
Is this on?
It is. You might need to.
My name is John Engler. I'm actually from Williams County, but the reason I'm being here today and the reason I've spent a lot of time in Defiance County over the last months is because I want you guys involved in the Michido Aquifer opposition. So far, Williams County itself has come together as a community, and for the most part, with two exceptions, we've all passed resolutions opposing the Michido Aquifer and at Kinston and Aquifer Pioneer. He intends to profit from the use of our water, and once he does so, it would actually start a precedence that would allow any company to come in and do the same thing. Before we know it, we have many straws in one aquifer pulling from many directions. That is one of the reasons I stand against it personally. I can't say that the Williams County Alliance is on with that or not. This is my personal opinion on that part. Montpelier has passed a resolution that said that they're seriously concerned about it. I'm not quite sure why they changed the wording and what everybody else has used, but that's the way the village council voted. And then Pioneer, of course, had one man stood up and made the motion to remove Ed Kinston as the head of the village council because he represented his company and was not representing the people that elected him, number one. And number two, it was a conflict of interest. He could not get his motion seconded. He then made a motion to oppose the use of our aquifer by Kinston and Aquifer Pioneer to move water outside of the aquifer boundaries. That also was not seconded. it appears that a lot of the people that are on that village council either works for him or is related to him or has been doing business with him for a great number of years. He was mayor there for 35 years, so he's got a lot of influence. Every other township, community, town, village has voted to oppose the use of our water outside of the aquifer boundaries. We would love your support on this. We've been trying to reach out to Defiance and communities that live above the aquifer and communicate to you guys the reason behind the need to oppose this. And we certainly would appreciate your vote opposing it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you.
We already voted for that.
No, tonight.
It's on tonight.
Oh, it's on the agenda.
Final reading today.
I'm sorry?
We have our third reading of an ordinance opposing it tonight.
You what?
We have our third reading of an ordinance opposing it.
Guess what?
So-
I wasn't here for number 1 or 2,
That's okay.
obviously.
That's all right.
Oh.
We're always happy to have guests. And do you speak for the rest of the people that are sitting there? Okay,
I would have to agree with those views, yes.
okay.
What is the name of the business that Artesian?
It's Aquifer Pioneer.
Artesian and Pioneer.
Artesian,
Oh, I'm sorry.
AOP.
Yeah, Artesian
Supposed to give that
Pioneer.
here.
Thank
Oh,
you.
here.
We have concerns also. So we should, if council passes it, would be our final reading tonight, so.
We certainly appreciate your support.
Okay, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, or
Okay.
you may leave and you won't hurt our feelings, whatever. Thank you.
I had a quick question for you.
Yes.
How's your outreach to other communities? I know you just talked about Montpelier and Pioneer, but you're dealing with cities
I'm
in
sorry, go ahead.
Indiana. You're dealing with cities in Indiana and counties in Indiana.
Yes, I talked
Michigan,
to
Ohio.
reporters in Angola. I've been in Hillsdale talking to them. There's opposite decision there. These signs in particular have grown momentum. We have moved 3,500 of these already.
Wow.
And more every day. I have friends in Fulton County that when this started a couple months ago, there wasn't one sign there. Now it's finding signs peppered throughout the county. The word is getting out there. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a long-term project since he has not filed with the EPA at this point. We were hoping it'd be on the ballot this year. Looks like it's going to probably be put up more than likely till next year. But everything we can do in every town, village, community we can get to vote opposing it is more to the voice of that opposition.
Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, the counties involved in Michigan and Ohio, and Indiana and Ohio are forming a joint board. They haven't done it yet, but they have meetings coming up. Lenawee County, DeKalb County, Auburn's in DeKalb County, yeah. You know, actually, the aquifer is, Auburn gets its water from the aquifer. The reason the border on the maps that you see are, it's not plausible for anyone outside that little map that you look at on the handouts to actually have a second choice on where to get water, where Auburn isn't part of it, but Auburn, it's possible they could get it from Fort Wayne. Williams County, Branch County, those counties don't have a choice. I mean, when it's gone, it's gone. And I don't believe in the science that I hear. I've been to all the meetings. And it's hard for me to believe that with the growth that would happen by this water going east into Lucas County and Fulton and them communities, you know, they've got water now. If they could get along with Toledo, it wouldn't be happening. So, and EPA really is not involved in it. until the last dog is hung. I mean, he can drill his test wells if in fact he does. Rumor has it he has a well or two, a large well that is available. And he can do all the tests that he wants, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
Other than disapprove of it.
Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then we'll go on. In your packet, you have a notice of a public hearing on September 19th. It's an application submitted by Hirschberger Fine Foods / Turnover Creations as a request for a 20-foot variance for a sign installation at 304 Wendell Avenue. So if people are interested in that, Wednesday, September 29th at the Zoning Inspector's Office, 108 North Main Street. You have in your packet revolving loan committee minutes from an August 15th meeting, and then it was continued, I would say, on August 22nd, 2 separate meetings. And it was with a tree company that wants to start a tree trimming business in Hicksville. So, and then you can go on to the park board minutes where they held a special meeting on August 27th. Your meetings are here, or your minutes are here, rather. Is Val in here, the room anywhere? Or a park board representative? All right. Does anyone have any questions for the park board, Corey, about anything in the minutes or anything going on at the park? The park looks wonderful. There's not a blade of grass out of place. Looks pretty nice.
We all agree we're gonna pay this $2,000?
We took it to the park board. The park board addressed it with the ball association, and you know they didn't want to pay it. They, you know, accidents happen, and they asked if they wanted to bring it back to council, and I said I would. Talk to Kent and Diane, get their thoughts on it. The situation was it didn't go through Val. I thought it did. I thought they had asked Val if they could do that. It did not. It went to our past administrator. He gave me okay. He gave an okay that it didn't need to be fixed. He had given an okay and told the insurance company not to mess, you know, it was good. Kind of a miscommunication kind of thing. So that organization raised that money for the, you know, the kids that play in those fields and the upkeep and different things. So we had thought it was wise to maybe bring it back and just have pay the deductible.
That's what the 2,000 is, the deductible, right? Okay.
Right. And the insurance company, Kent worked with the insurance company thinking they might not, since it was already passed, they might not be able to go back and look at it. And they were able to, Kent was able to get that done through the insurance company, so.
Any other questions? Corey, do you have anything you'd like to say about anything going on at the park or anything? Okay. There is going to be at 8:30 on Thursday mornings just standing pickleball playing going on for anybody who just wants to show up at 8:30 on Thursday mornings, since that's park related.
I suppose you can be available since you're like that.
Are there any other things under boards and commissions for anybody that's on a board or commission?
No, I have nothing.
Then we'll go on to the committee reports. There are no committee reports in the packet from any meetings, but are there any committees of council that would like to report on anything? Okay. Then we will go on to the solicitor's report.
Skipping Kent?
You skipping Kent?
I don't have any.
Did I skip
Unless
Kent?
people have questions.
Sorry, Kent.
No,
I thought we were
It's not the first time that's happened.
I thought we were gonna talk about Dane and Drive.
Okay, so Kent, you have no
Kent, you do
reports,
have
what you're saying?
I didn't. Well, no, I was only gonna say unless people had questions, so I guess.
Ken sent us all a notice. Did everybody read it about Den and Drive?
No.
Whether to, we we all agreed that we were just going to patch it.
Yes.
And send a thing that trying to establish lines on where to stop or start. Seemed confusing to him. Wanted to know if we were sure that's what we wanted to do. And my reply to everyone was, let's discuss it one more time tonight here, and then be done with it, so Kent knows what direction to follow. The last time we agreed, yes, we're just going to patch it for, I think it was 20,000.
That's what it was.
20,000 versus 125,000, and then use some of the proceeds from that money, because he has already earmarked that money, to fix some of these side streets. Myself, I prefer to leave it as we have already voted. Anybody else? The floor is yours.
20,000 was an estimate, though, from what I understand, and things could change once he gets started.
Floating number.
The floating number?
I don't know if anybody's been out there and seen it and drove on it.
Today's the first since I've been back.
And it's bad. And I think we're just the Band-Aid.
That's where when
we need to fix it right.
I don't know where I'd tell him to start and stop.
And if I remember right, you're going to put blacktop in this time, going back to cement.
I only saw one big X out there. I don't know if that came from last fall or wherever. I don't know what panels people were talking about, but
That bad
Did you
one
paint
that's
it?
in front of Stuckey's?
no, that's going to be near the parsonage. Well, no, that one might be farther down. There's so many of them that are cracked.
How much money are you going to save by Band-Aiding and how much money are you going to have to fix, what's it, Hicks Street you'd like fixed?
Roughly $100,000.
Is that correct?
If his price stays how
Well,
he estimated.
you know, that's why you turn bids in. You get into it and you make a paint mark and you go, this is where you're going. You can't have somebody coming to you going, well, you know, we ought to take another 35 feet up. No, the rest of the people didn't bid another 35 feet, so.
Well, he's the only one people got a bid from.
So that doesn't mean that it's.
I'm actually surprised some of the homeowners aren't up here.
Well, no, it's just, I mean, if this is what you folks want to do, somebody's got to tell me. Because when I was out there walking it today, I really don't know where a bad panel, if it's buttoned up to two more that are cracked real bad, why wouldn't you be fixing those? Why would you let those with a brand new panel?
Need a little more study on this situation then.
Crack,
Well, no,
a crack is one thing, but like in front of Stuckey's, it just went down. It's a recession and it's deteriorating inside of the hole. Things like that. A crack, you can drive over a crack for many years. You could even put some expansion joint filler in them.
Okay, if somebody wants to go out and mark the panels, that way he'll know and I'll know, because like I said,
Okay, who's the guy working on it now for?
well, it'll be James Miller.
Okay.
Is the mark still in there? It was marked before.
It's probably a month
I said I can only
when I was there.
I could only see one big X.
There was green
Several.
paint and red paint had been used.
I saw some green. I'm confused, so I know he will be.
Okay, who is going to go out there with Kent and show him what you want replaced?
I'll go. You start at the beginning and go clear to the end and come back.
You're not gonna
Do
get
it right.
that 20,000.
Might as well do it right.
I'll gladly go. Larry, you want to go with me?
Yeah, let me know when I can walk.
I'm
We'll
available.
send you out in a wheelchair.
I'm available.
Golf cart.
Golf cart.
Sure.
Right. Okay,
After this meeting, we'll set something up.
Sounds good.
all right.
I'm free anytime.
Kent, they're gonna give you some direction. Okay, thank you.
But we all agree to repair, not replace.
No, we don't all agree.
All but Sheila?
Yes.
Okay.
Same as before. How we
Same
want
as
to do it.
before, yes. All right.
Okay. No other committees that would like to report on anything?
Real quick, I didn't know if Kent was going to bring it up, but September 11th, we have a meeting with Choice One to look at the industrial drive, water and sanitary line to run up through there, getting their plans around. We got another meeting with RCAP. They're doing the water asset management study, also the EIS coming in on the 17th, and we are still trying to pinpoint a date with Andy with EPA. I know Kent's been emailing quite often. We will not give him a day or time.
Related
And
to
that
the
is
Defiance Avenue lift station, right?
Defiance Avenue lift station and Chicago Avenue and a couple other projects. But you can't pinpoint a date down for these people, so he hasn't given up.
Okay.
And Morgan has refused to give you anything?
I've passed on a couple other spots that they need to look at. They're not all paving related, but his latest message Friday afternoon, Geddes is still dragging their feet getting him numbers. If they don't get it to him soon, he might switch to another company and hash out all that.
That would be my preference anyhow.
So, no, he's not forgotten.
Okay. We will go on to solicitor's report then.
First thing's Resolution 2018-14, the third reading by caption only, a resolution to assess streetlight millage.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Next, Resolution 2018-15, third reading by caption only, a resolution of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, directing the Defiance County Auditor to assess and enter the delinquent water and sewer bills on the tax duplicate of the properties described in Exhibit A.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Beverly,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Third reading of Resolution 2018-16, a resolution of the Village of Hicksville, Ohio, directing the Defiance County Auditor to assess and enter the delinquent cost of weed and grass mowing on the tax duplicate of the properties described in Exhibit A.
Make a motion to
Second.
Roll call, please.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Third reading, Resolution 2018-17 by caption only, a resolution to enter into an agreement with the Defiance County Commissioners for the recovery of monies expended for providing legal counsel to indigent persons for the calendar year 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Resolution number 2018-18, third reading by caption only, a resolution recognizing and promoting the importance of the groundwater aquifer in opposition to drilling for or private distribution of the groundwater from the Mission Doe glacial aquifer to locations outside of the designated aquifer.
Make a motion to
Second.
Roll call, please.
Is that is the final reading?
Yep.
Yes.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Second reading of Resolution 2018-19, a resolution strongly urging the Ohio Governor and members of the Ohio General Assembly to invest the state budget surplus in municipalities. First reading, Resolution 2018-22 by caption only, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Does this need to be an emergency, Cheryl, I assume?
Yeah.
I move we suspend the rules.
Second.
Roll call.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Second, no.
Just a real quick, I forgot to ask you, is that up or down from last year? Do you remember?
that's a little up, not much.
Was last year 69?
Oh,
Was last year 69?
but we're on this one right now. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, we have second and third reading to do yet on the one that we just read.
That was
Yeah.
suspend the rules, right?
Yeah, second and third reading of Resolution 2018-22 by caption only. A resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baker,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Ridgway,
Yes.
Resolution 2018-23, first reading by caption only. A resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with Top Timber Tree Service LLC and declaring an emergency.
I move we suspend the rules.
Second.
Roll call. Ridgway.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Resolution 2018-23, second and third readings by caption only. A resolution authorizing the revolving loan fund committee to enter into an agreement with Top Timber Tree Service LLC and declaring an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Baker.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
And then the only other thing is Cheryl's provided our share of the local government fund, 6.9%, estimated $75,066. That doesn't need formal legislation, just somebody to make a motion, seconded, and then to approve those amounts.
But I have a question. Is this what you were asking about, Ken, if it was higher, and you said yes? The 75,000 is higher than what we got last year? Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Ridgway.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go on to the department heads. Police Chief Stickney, please.
Really all I have to tell you is that the car that we've ordered is supposed to be done. It's undergoing quality checks now, so by the end of the week we ought to have it here to be able to get the decals and the other finishing items put on it. Other than that, do you have any questions?
Just
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
when it does get here, paperwork on it.
I'm sorry, what?
Give me the paperwork.
Oh,
on it,
okay, sure.
So I get on the insurance and then it'll go on our state purchasing report, so.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
One other thing, Police, Fire, and EMS Committee, excuse me, I have called for a meeting that to cover a bunch of things, but it doesn't need
I
to
think
go.
it's Thursday at 10, right?
That's
Thursday.
what I'd heard the
Yeah.
last
6.
time, but I don't know.
Yeah, Thursday at 10. It's on my
I think you
calendar.
put it on the board out there.
Okay, yeah, he had sent me a text, but he hadn't got a confirmation on it yet, so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Fire Chief Kramer.
I'd like a recommendation from the mayor. We appoint Bradley North as our department chaplain for both fire, EMS, and police department. Bradley's here tonight if you want to.
Bradley
Big giant.
North
North, yep.
as chaplain of
Chaplain of the,
Police, Fire, EMS?
yep.
Okay. Well, I would make that recommendation.
Thank you.
Mr. North, then, besides the chief.
Mr. North, beside the chief. He preaches at South Scipio Church.
Sorry, it's across the line.
He lives here in town.
Are you a Buckeye fan?
I'm sorry?
Buckeye fan? Who's your fan?
What do you want me to be?
Sound like a politician.
Right. Just too dang close to the state line. Actually, I had a brother that played for University of Texas football, so I pretty much believe we're orange. Although I'm embarrassed for Saturday, but.
Very good, thank you.
The mayor's recommendation to bring him on board as the chaplain.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Beverly.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Thank you. I think that's all I have for fire department. There was an EMS report in your packet or on your desk when you got here tonight. I haven't seen it. If you have questions, I'll attempt, but
Tell them thanks for covering. I know they're short,
Everybody.
but they don't get burned out.
I went on one run Sunday and I ended up 3 right in a row. Just the way it is.
Any questions? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have any apps come in?
Yeah.
I have 2 part-time, 2 apps for part-time EMT. Cheryl said that they're coming in through the 15th of September. So. All right. And Corey has nothing for the park. Okay. So we will go on to the fiscal officer's report. Cheryl, what would you like to report?
I just have my month-to-date, year-to-date cash summary.
Okay.
If anyone has any questions. And everyone is getting ready to do their budget in the month of September.
I see the general fund is still
Yeah.
in hurts.
Pretty sad.
Now, have you told those of us that matter that our budgets have to go down 20% in our departments? Has everybody been told that?
I wrote the number on their paper.
Wow. Didn't know that. Because of the general fund.
Based on the estimated revenue for next year.
I know the finance is going to meet the next couple of weeks to discuss that.
Thank you, Cheryl. So in your package, you had the flyer on the aquifer stuff. I also put a reminder in your packet that Curtis Metz had invited you to the Electric Works GE campus redevelopment tour and open house Thursday, August 30th. I guess this is a little late, but I told you all in advance. And then, I don't know that anybody cares, but the Police and Fire Department, or Police and Fire Committee, if you care, Cheryl Smith has gone to a ton of work to look up information on first responders, where the classes are, how much they cost, how many people. It only takes 6 people in a class and 48 hours to come to Hicksville to do the class. And all the information is right here, and I will pass it on to the Police and Fire Committee. So then we have some interest. Well, Cheryl was contacted by someone that that's offering a telephone system that would, it's kind of like the school has. It's going to send out a message for any kind of emergency or public information that you want to go out. And I have 2 different, I guess, offers or names of companies that want to do that, if anybody thinks that would be helpful to offer to our community. And I will also pass that on to the Police and Fire Committee, since it's kind of a...
Is there any communities around us that have it that you know of?
I
to
have
see how well it works.
I just showed Kent one I got yesterday, which actually applied to me because there was an accident down from my house, and I didn't have power from 4 until 1 in the morning. But they sent a thing that said the road was closed and that the power had been, and weather-related ones they'll send. And then in Defiance, you can sign up for a different one. They also have one where they allow them, you'll get like community notices, so you might get like some concert at such and such on this day or whatever. It's off free to the residents. I don't know what the city charges for that.
And it's a service you signed up for. It's
Yeah,
not
like
forced on
Yeah,
anyone.
you got to text a number to, or email to a certain number, and then once you're in, and you can back out at any time. So that's pretty nice.
So it's a cost to the subscribers and not to the village?
No.
We don't have the details yet, Ron.
I'm sure it's not that though.
I don't have the details yet.
Just like now, Anna on her phone, she gets all the county notices, snow.
So do I, but they're free.
Right,
Well,
that's
I
the way
know, I'm
this
just saying.
The county's probably paying for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Or the
people
school,
have access
the school
to
does.
some of that now.
It is free to the person who is holding the phone,
Right.
but it's not free to the village who's offering the service.
Right.
But I think it's really nice. I really like the text that I get from the county and the weather and that kind of stuff, alerting me to stuff. But so you can, I'll just pass some information on, or even do a little more research myself before I give it to the committee, so that they may have some details and won't have to.
Sounds interesting. I think.
So then I want to remind everybody that Meet the Cops at the Huber, September 20th, 9 to 11, coffee and donuts provided by the Huber Boys. And Let's see here. I have, Justin Kuhn here. I know that you wanted to come and address something with council. Would you come to the podium, please?
The first thing, before I talk about that, I wanted to ask you guys about another thing. Today I signed a contract with a coffee shop out of Fort Wayne, Indiana to build a new coffee shop out here on the corner of 49 and 2 across from the school. And I'd like to get the property annexed into the city. What do I need to do?
Could you tell him the steps in doing that, Troy, to just get it, to request it to be annexed in?
Well, there's a formal process he's got to file because he got to go through. I mean, the village's role in that only is basically to say, yes, we would accept it, and what services we would provide, which we're already providing out there anyway. It's really an issue of filing with the town, or with the county commissioners, asking it, because you're basically taking it from the township at that point. And so there's a formal process where, and the nature of that probably where it sits, you probably can do like an expedited one where as long as you meet all the requirements under the code, they basically don't have a right to turn you down. You just have to jump through all the hoops and it goes through one of their meetings. We would have to pass a resolution saying that we would accept it and provide, you know, the necessary services, fire, EMS, you know, all of those things, which we have done before and would do. And it's about, probably from start to finish, I'm guessing from, it's been a while since I did one. Probably 90 days, even on the expedited, 60 to 90 days.
So he needs to make a written, he needs to notify
It's a
us in
formal
writing
process.
that.
Yeah, it's a formal process. You got to get a petition around, and then I think, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've done one. Then there's a part of that where he notifies the village that he's filed it, and then we pass a resolution and we send it on to the county commissioner saying we agree to accept it and provide the necessary services.
Bill Cleveland put all that into the village at one time.
It got pulled back out at one time, I think.
But it still didn't include that corner. It
Yeah.
was a strip of land.
Just a lot?
Along.
It was where Corinne had that house right
Yeah.
there, wasn't it?
It's a screwy deal. I went to the township.
It was never ever in.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it's true.
But it's adjacent to land that's already in the village, right? So it should be no problem.
So who do I contact? What's a petition? When you say I make a petition and
And there's pretty formal requirements about who has to have signed it, who all gets notified, like the township trustee, there's a form for it.
I know I tried to.
Thank you.
Maybe it was Sheltenberger property and it talked about it. It's a process.
It is a
I
process.
just need to know where to go or what to do. If somebody can
Trusted
direct me.
legal advisor.
Are you to do?
Not anymore.
Okay. The other reason that I'm here is.
You didn't give me one.
Oh, I thought I'd give you one.
No.
That's okay. One right there.
We'll share. Eric.
I don't need one. So.
Here, I don't care. I don't.
Okay, do that for Eric then.
So the other reason that I'm here is it's probably no secret to any of you that I've been trying to get some town signs, some new town signs put into Hicksville. I contacted the mayor, I don't know, 6 months ago, probably by now, springish, to contact the Kiwanis, and I did that. I went and talked to the Kiwanis, and Taylor Klepper went with me, and we talked to the Kiwanis, and the existing town signs in Hicksville were built in 1985, and we're 2018 now, and times have changed. And I have a large concern on trying to make this city or this village grow, and I'm trying my best to bring business. And some of the businesses have mentioned the town signs. And I've worked the Kiwanis, they don't want to change the town signs, which I'm fine with. And I've got some authorization from FWT to build a new town sign at the other end of the property. And I've hired Dave Brown to go ahead and make a new town sign. I've got a professional landscape company lined up to put professional landscape around it. And I was wondering if the council would help funding this sign. It's about $7 grand is what I think it is. I was going to try.
Close to in here, Justin.
We like the Village of Archibald one. We were thinking the one to look like that. I trust that Dave Brown is good. I mean, Dave Brown's made almost every town sign for around the surrounding area except ours, and I trust that he'll make a good sign. He likes the look of the Village of Archibald, but without the stone on the bottom, to do kind of a metal background and then put "Welcome to the Village of Hicksville" and leave the services off of it without the Kiwanis, without the Rotary, just a town sign that speaks Hicksville. And then if the Kiwanis still want to go forward with the Eagle Scout project, they can make their own and put the services on, which I'm not against. I just know that we had some home builders in town, and one of them commented on our town signs, and I think it's a first impression of the community when you come in, and it's not a lot of money. And I went to a lot of other businesses around the area, and they've all said, we'll donate, but these are the Hicksville town signs, and we're sick of paying for everything in town.
Will this have power to it?
What?
Will this have power?
I think it'd be awesome to have power to it. And if you go out there and look, there's some street lights coming down right there up by FWT. If we could get like Darren Brown or somebody run a conduit down and put 2 LED lights up on it and light it at night, I think it'd look beautiful. And I think our town sign is a first impression of what people see when they pull into a community. And I'm here to ask. I know you guys can tell me no, and I'm fine with that, but all I can do is ask.
Well, the one at WT, how long has that been down?
It's been down almost a year and a half,
Yeah,
and I'm
almost a year.
not trying to be the jerk of the town and buck the system, but how long can you hold the ball? They've held the ball for a long time, and it represents our town. It represents our restaurants. I mean, 2 bandits bring people in from all over the country. We have other restaurants that bring people in, and when people look around our community and see our school, they realize that we're a cute little village. And Roanoke, Indiana is a perfect example down in Fort Wayne. They're growing. I mean, they're a small town just like us, and there's no reason why Hicksville shouldn't. Parkview just added 2,500 new jobs. I mean, we're getting to be a suburb of Fort Wayne, and we need to get those people and get them to relocate in our town. I know I heard you guys just mention you have to cut your expenditures 20%, and we need to get more people in our town to take more pride and spend money and live in our community. And I think a town sign is a cheap, easy way to make a first impression that we care.
You're thinking about just one sign.
I personally feel that most of the traffic comes into Hicksville from 37, and we can't do them all because we don't have $1 million to spend. And I think the FWT sign, since it's already down, that would be a good start. And then maybe next year we tackle another area, and next year we turn it into a 3-year project or 5-year project. And I've talked with a lot of business owners and individuals in Hicksville, and they said we're willing to donate if the town matches what we raise. So in my mind, I was thinking if we as a community can raise $5,000, would the town match us $5,000?
What would the cost of this one be, do you know?
We're guessing around 6. So the Kurtz sign that's on 37, the Kurtz Produce sign there, I stopped in and talked to them, and they had about $6,000 in their sign.
That's a sharp sign.
That's a nice sign.
Good looking sign.
If we could raise enough money, I think it'd be nice to put a signboard like Kurtz has on there that says cucumbers and tomatoes, and we could put town events. I mean, events at Hube or Ball Fest, Hoptoberfest, where actually you can read it coming into town, where it's not a banner or something that I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box.
To me, that would deter from a sign this pretty.
Right, and that's what Dave Brown said, and that's where I trust Dave, and I trust in Taylor, and Taylor is against that, and I'm fine with that. I trust that they can make a good enough decision, and maybe they can put it back on the Kiwanis sign where the Boy Scouts is doing his project, and put maybe a board, and they can advertise stuff on there. But when you look around, and now that I've brought this up, you guys can start paying attention, I'm sure, to town signs. Most of them are just a standalone town sign. It doesn't say anything about the Aces, it doesn't say anything about the Eagles, it just says, welcome to our village, welcome to Hicksville, and this is who we are. And right now, our image is from 1985. And I've tried probably as hard as anybody in this town to get housing and to get business, and I hear it over and over. And I'm just relaying the message.
What's the timeline, Justin?
I would like to try to have it in maybe the 1st of October. I talked to Dave. What we were thinking is that property kind of sets down in a hole by the power plant there, because the road sets up. So we would like to haul in some dirt and make a mound, and then put some boulders in it, put some them weeping evergreens behind it, and put like some grasses and knockout roses, stuff that isn't high maintenance but would look nice, and then set the sign in it. And if we could come off of a power pole and light it, I think at night it'd look beautiful.
You couldn't do it on the west end where the old one was?
I don't want to step on their toes.
Same location?
No, they were going to have one at the one end, and I talked to one of the, actually ended up talking to the owner at FWT, and he gave me the authorization to put it at the other end. And I'm trying not to step on our toes as much as possible, but we won a year and a half. Somebody's got to take the ball and do something.
I'm not trying to be negative, because I'm in support of this, Justin. Who's going to be that low maintenance person that's going to take care of that? Because being involved in the beautification committee, and I know we've made comments before that everybody has great ideas about doing really good things around the community, but then nobody's there to follow up and take care of it. So who do you see taking care of this landscaping and
Well,
everything?
I feel that if we use stone instead of mulch, if we use boulders and stone, mulch is a maintenance thing, which I'm not for. I don't want to have to remulch it every year to look nice. I'd rather spend a little more money up front and stone it and use perennial grasses and flowers that come up that don't need watered. And if it needs maintenance, I'm positive we can find somebody, and I'm not going to volunteer Dave Brown's wife, but I know she really likes garden and flowers. I'm going to say maybe if I talk nice to her, but I don't think it's going to be anything like the other ones where we plant, what are they called, annuals, and they need water and they need pulled. I don't want to have any of that. I would rather have maybe evergreens and some of those weeping shrubs maybe, and try to stay away from as much hands-on as we can.
How about discussion of council?
Have you talked to the state, Justin? The right-of-way is funny out there around that bridge.
Gotcha.
And back so many feet. And I know from having my signs up, the state sent me a nasty letter and said that I was on them and it would cost me X amount of dollars.
I can find that out. I went and talked to Mike Bailey at the township, and he said since it's in the township, I think it's like a $10. I mean, it was peanuts to get a sign permit to put it in, but I will check into the state and make sure there's no, I don't want to put in a sign and get in trouble with the state. I will find that.
That will, 100%. When I heard about this, when Kent sent me an email on it, that was the biggest stumbling block I could see.
Gotcha. The thing that I don't want to do is go out and do all the work and then come back and say we're not interested, because if they say yes, you still need money. So if I get everything lined up, if we get the money lined up and it's okay with the state and we move forward, before I did stuff where I go out and get everything cleared and he come and it's like, nope, we're not interested. And it's like, I just spent all that time doing that?
I'm interested.
Yeah, I was too. I was wondering though, are they, the other group, I mean, I don't know if Kiwanis is big with signs, are they still wanting to keep their signs?
I believe so.
Yeah, they do.
We're going to have kind of a, more of
for
a,
the Boy Scouts.
to me, it was like this sign, and then also their sign to me is like, it is Hicksville, but it's the organizations in Hicksville.
Right, it's the organizations. I was in a meeting, and I'm glad that Taylor Klepper was there to hear this, and I sat there, and I mean, I've invested a lot of money in this town with the restaurant and the hardware and the school and now a coffee shop, and I sat there and they said, we know what you want to do, Justin. You want to put a first-class town in a second-class community. Hicksville does not need a first-class town, or a first-class sign. Is that what they said, Taylor? We're a second-class community. Well, that's a pretty bad thing to say when you're trying to bring business in an industrial park, and I know you guys spend almost $50,000 on an industrial park sign out there. If we have the mentality we're a second-class community, we ought to hang it up. I mean, that's a pretty bad argument to argue back with me. We don't need a big, nice sign. We're a second-class community. I mean, did you really say that? I'm glad somebody was in the room to hear it.
How does, like, Archbold, who financed that for them? You have any idea?
I'm not sure. I don't know who financed
it. A town project, or that'd be interesting.
I know that in my brain, and I know my brain works crazy, but they're the town signs. So I wrap my brain around, I feel the town should pony up some money and if not pay for the whole thing, which we're not even asking that. I know that I can go to people and raise the money to pay for the whole sign, but every one of them's told me the same thing. They're the town signs. We're willing to help if the town helps. So that's what I'm hearing.
Would someone like to make a motion for the record that we support this
do you need a dollar amount?
endeavor somehow financially? Yeah, I would.
I would need more plans. What, your final plans kind of thing, and landscaping. And
It sounds like you have support in this group, but they would like to see a final plan.
Okay, sounds good. I'll keep going.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. That's my goal.
And
What
that's
do you
what
guys?
said. You want to see us?
You want a dollar amount is what we want.
I'm going to say $7,000. What I'm going to tell you, $7,000.
That's what you want us to match?
No, that's what I want to raise in a
Halfway.
whole.
Okay.
So if we raise $3,500, I would ask that you guys match whatever we raise. I was going to actually do a GoFundMe page tonight. Taylor and I have it ready to hit the send button as soon as I walk out of this meeting to try to raise funds, and we were going to try to get to $7,000 mark. If we can hit 35, would you guys match us 35? As far as the design, I mean, it's three blue spruces in the background with some grass and some perennials in front. I went to Dave today to see if he had something drawn up, and he didn't at this time, which I
I'm okay with him not doing, but I trust that he's made enough town signs that it'll be very nice for all of us.
You think the truck traffic will keep it dirty there?
What?
Truck traffic from the gravel?
I don't know. Maybe the rain will blow it off. I don't know. Maybe.
It's just
Dave is designing a sign for me for the police department also, just so you know, because our police department sign is falling down, it's in bad shape, and so I asked him to design a sign for the police department, so.
So do we need a motion to?
There is a $1,500 cap on it.
I do know that Dave, when I left today, what he thought that his idea for the sign would be very similar to the Village of Archibald. We were going to have Dean Houston weld up some steel, kind of like that you see in the background of there. Put the steel poles in the back, have a kind of a, if you look, it's got some structural stuff behind it as to pretty it up. And then put this foam board Dave was going to use. I wanted to use it as a sign board instead of cedar so it would last a long time. It's kind of like a PVC material and you can still paint it so you don't have the maintenance in 15 years. It would hopefully be a lifetime sign. I did not want to put the stonework down in there. I'd rather do like more natural looking stone boulders and evergreens, weeping evergreens. So that's the design. That's the plan.
And it's going to be really big print. I know I've seen some of his signs and they're like kind of.
I want it big.
Really have to.
Yeah. So, and I'd really, I think it'd look awesome lit. I talked to Chris Banks and I talked to another landscape company and they said they haven't found any solar lights that work very good. They work for about a week and then they're junked. I thought if we could run a conduit off the street light just right there and bury it underground and uplight the sign, I thought it would look awesome. And I think that would be a great impression coming into our community that we take pride in.
Sounds like you have our support.
Yep.
So you don't need to vote on it or anything, that I can make the post that you guys will match us?
Well, the problem that we have is they want to see the design.
Design and costs and.
But you said 35 should cover it?
Yeah.
Justin, 35 would cover it?
We think a 7 would cover it.
Yeah, but 35.
We're going to try to raise 3,500 and you throw in 35 to meet the 7.
I'll make a motion that, no more than 3,500 that we support.
So we can get rolling on it because it's going to take longer.
I want to see plans, too.
I'll second it.
I mean, we'll make sure that it's nice, believe me. Yeah. Especially all the pressure that I've got watching this town sign, it's going to be the nice.
Yeah, because I'm going to hang your picture out there.
Right.
Roll call, Cheryl.
Ridgway.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Beverly.
Sure.
Barth.
Yes.
Now, I have another question for you. Do you want to bring up your property inquiry at this time?
Oh, yeah, the property behind the bowling alley? Is that what you're
The Antwerp Drive property?
Oh, yeah,
At one time, you asked me if the village would have an interest in selling you the Antwerp Drive property that we purchased, thinking that we were going to have a wetlands there. And I don't think we have a needs for a wetlands there anymore, but someone might disagree with me.
I have interest in putting in, I was down in Florida recently and I saw their little like retirement community homes. They're 2x4 built. They look like a trailer, but they're built like a home. They're 2x4 structure. They're foam insulated. And I would call them the perfect little retirement place. And I thought, I have 4 acres behind Casa Grande and I thought that maybe I could put them back there. I've talked with Jeff and Mike Bailey and it sounds like getting the infrastructure back there is complicated. I would really like to put it back there and it come up in the meeting that there is infrastructure out on Antwerp Drive at the 3 acres that the town owns that would be set up for that. And I called Diane and asked if you guys would be interested in selling that.
So.
Think about that a little bit.
Yeah. Some of those, and we talked about it, but.
I would really not like to buy it. I'd really like to figure out the infrastructure to put in behind Casa Grande. If there would be a way to tie it in.
But that floods back here, right?
Not on that side, it doesn't. It floods.
Out here on 49.
On 49, I've heard since I met with them that it floods, that it was a concern that it floods. So really not a good spot to build housing. Antwerp, or behind Casa Grande, in my opinion, I could go back in there and put the drive right through Casa Grande and go in the back and put a little entrance and put 5 or 6 and see how it goes. And if it goes, keep going around. But I'm not saying it's negative, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody when I say this, but it is so hard to get changed and in this town. When I approach them on trying to get utilities and stuff back there, it's like pulling teeth of how it can never happen and it'll never work. And I can't understand how you can't get a sewer pipe and water pipe 1,000 feet back behind a building, but in Fort Wayne they take them 10 miles. I can't wrap my brain around that, and it's hard, and I keep pounding the pavement, and I know I upset people, but it's hard always hearing the negative of if the growth's gonna happen, all I hear is, nope, can't work, nope, won't work.
I wasn't in on the discussion. I don't think they said it can't be done. You're gonna have to figure out how to get it up to where we have utilities.
The problem always is I always have to figure it out. I just wish that the city would help me.
You're the developer.
Can't you guys are hurting for money. Don't you want more tax money? Don't you want more water? Don't you want more sewer?
You know something, Justin?
Let's hear it, Ron.
I love your ambition, but you keep saying about growing this town and making it big. I don't want to live in Fort Wayne. I like Hicksville.
Boy, Brown, you guys are about broke.
That's why my address is Hicksville. If I wanted Fort Wayne living or Defiance living, I'd move.
Do you guys need more money? In this town, did I just not hear every one of these departments got cut 20%? It keeps getting cut, you're not going to be sitting around this table.
Well, I'll tell you what. Does the Water and Sewer Committee want to see if we have any use for that property anymore? Because you guys were involved in the water line and sewer line out there. Kent, can your committee get together and decide if we need the property anymore?
Yep.
Might not. That way you'll at least know. And we'll know if we can just go ahead and sell it if we don't need it anyway, even if you don't want it.
All right, sounds good.
So
appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not opposed.
Right.
Wasn't the main problem getting easements to get up to us?
First, they said that the infrastructure out front was old tile clay, wasn't very good, and you had to get underneath the road because the sewer is on the other side of the wholesale house and the water is on this side. And then I said, could we run the pipe up along the police department? In between Kent Brown's church and the police department, there's a strip of land that's maybe 20 feet. And I asked that, and they said, oh, the city won't do that. The city will have nothing to do with that. I think it's a buried pipe underground. Who's going to see it? What's it going to hurt? It might be ripped up for 2-3 weeks to put it in. Then I said, well, how about you go down to Westwood and go across there, which Chris Whitman bought the last acre of ground right at the end of the cul-de-sac. That never should have happened because that's the only development that could ever work in our town, because that's all the new infrastructure. So he shut that down. So I don't know where else, how you get it, unless the town helps me step up to figure out how to get it.
I guess it wouldn't be the utility department's grant and easement. That's not bad.
I would tie it into Casa Grande. I know that one time I sat in here and you guys were doing Haber Drive, and there was an 8-inch line out of Haber Drive, and you said that would never handle any more flow on it. I hired an architect, Dave Brown, spent $6,000, presented it to Pogemeyer, and they said that it could hold 300 homes, which was more homes out by the golf course area than Haber Drive. The flow was okay. The lift station wouldn't hold the pipe, but the 8-inch pipe would hold the flow. So I know I have a 6-inch pipe coming out of the back of Casa Grande, and I said, could I tie into that? And they said, how many homes are you thinking? I said, I don't know, maybe 30. And they said, oh no, 6-inch would not hold 30 homes. Now,
do with selling the property or and all that kind of thing.
Right. There's a whole bunch that goes in, just like trying to annex that property in out here by the high school. I have to write a petition. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes into it. I'm by no means an expert. I mean, I barely graduated high school. I graduated 73 out of 72 in my class. I beat one person. So now I'm going to spend the whole next week trying to figure out how to get a petition signed up, take it to the commissioners. I'm just asking for some help. I mean, take my hand, take the horse to water. I'm willing to try to do the best I can do, but I need some guidance.
Well, Mike's right that it involves the Streetlight and Property Committee too, but since they know the purpose of the purchase of the land in the first place, if they can make a recommendation among themselves, and perhaps it goes to the Streetlight and Property Committee and they discuss, if they have a problem with it, maybe we can try to keep it moving, but
thanks for bringing that up, Dan. I'm just here for a sign.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't get your answer sooner. I just didn't know what their feelings were on it. So I didn't know if you wanted it public either.
Okay, all good. It's all fine. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Justin. I personally, and I think a lot of council members do, appreciate your interest in the village of Hicksville and what you try to do for the village and its residents. So that takes care of what's on our agenda. Is there anyone present in the room that would like to address council about anything else?
Can I speak for a second, Mark Collins?
Yes, would you come up to the podium, please?
Yeah,
You need to state your name for Cheryl's records, of course.
Sure, I'm Aiden Baker. Am I good to go? Okay, great. I think most of you recognize me by now. A couple months ago I was out pounding your doors talking about the aquifer issue. We did that in Ney, Sherwood, and here as well, and Defiant City. Defiant City never acted on it, but all three of those villages did introduce resolutions opposing the aquifer, so far we have a 75% success rate. I do have to apologize, Councilman Ridgway, I did miss your concert that night, so that was...
You're pushing the vote.
That was a casualty of war there, but all the price of doing business. I'm here because, you know, beyond the aquifer issue, which is a big issue for me personally, I'm running for state representative in this area, and so I've tried to hit all the local governments and municipalities talking about it, and you know, that's brought me here. My big thing, and I really appreciate the resolution that you guys are working on asking for the Ohio State budget surplus to be reinvested back into the municipalities, because out here that's absolutely everything. The big reason that I'm running, I'm from Grover Hill, Ohio, which even if you guys haven't heard of it, I understand. It's a select few that know where that's at. We actually just hit a budget crisis. The state auditor is down investigating us. We actually just had to cut our police force because the money wasn't in the budget to pay for it. And the reason that my hometown went bankrupt was because of a scheduled, mandated EPA sewer overhaul. So time and time again in this area, we've seen government overstepping its limits and forcing villages like my hometown to pay for these kind of updates that realistically a village of 400 people was never going to be able to afford, and not even trying to pony up the money to make that cover the costs. And so often, I spent 6 months writing for the Paulding Progress, which is a local newspaper over in Paulding, covering village governments and going to those meetings and hearing what they had to say, and everywhere I go I hear the same thing. These budgets are getting tighter and tighter. When the state auditors came to my hometown about the issue, they sat down with our fiscal officer and found out that nowhere in our budget could they cut anymore, and that's when the police had to go. We were already running bare bones, and it still wasn't enough to cover our own butts. You know, that was the bottom line for my town, and it's getting to be the bottom line for a lot of other towns in this area. And if we're going to keep this hometown charm, if we're going to stay financially viable, it's going to take more than retirement homes. It's going to take more than even private investing. It's going to take the state to pony up its money, because over the last 10 years, they've cut $1.5 billion from that local government fund. And, you know, when you're talking about a state budget, that's not a ton of money, but for these local municipalities, that is everything. So I'd like to put some more money back into that fund and get money, more importantly, into areas like ours, because for far too long we've had representatives who really just haven't cared about this area. They go to Columbus, they ask for appointments to state senate and the next step up, but they don't do anything to help out the little guy while they're here. So admittedly, I'm a little bit young, but you know what? I understand that nobody knows their communities better than the group assembled here, and the problem is that far too often state government is getting in the way of that. So what I'd like to do is empower each and every one of you to do your job, because nobody knows their communities, their neighbors like you do. You guys are the ones paving the roads, paying the fire, the EMS, making sure that those runs are made on time, protecting this village and keeping it sustainable. That's the bottom line here. So I'd like to let you guys do your job by getting state government out of the way. So I appreciate you hearing me out and letting me light a fire under your butts a little bit. But again, my name's Aiden Baker. I'm from Grover Hill. If you have any questions, otherwise I'd love to let you go.
Well, thank you for coming and introducing yourself to us.
Yep, I'm sure you'll hear more from me. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty.
Got the energy.
Mrs. Vaughn, please step to the podium.
I don't want to talk from the podium.
Oh, you'll be fine.
I am just new to Hicksville Village. I moved into Hicksville Village about 3 months ago. I live on Antwerp Drive. My house fronts the property that's been discussed here. I understood it was wetland. And if it's wetland, you can't build. There's codes or something that it's very tricky to get around sometime. Am I correct on that? Is it wetland? or is it not?
There are certain rain events that happen, and thank God we haven't had any recently, but when we have a massive hard rain, and it's usually when it's frozen, the ground's frozen, and we get those late winter rains, that water runs off that field, and that's the path it wants to take, is between your house and Pekrasky's, and it kind of runs in through there and across the road. We had a year or two where it happened quite often, and people were very nervous about it. And I know Mrs. Hosteller, I believe, when she lived there, she addressed it with me and the council, and was concerned with Pekrasky, and everybody was affected by it. In the meantime, what we have done is, if anybody had built in that lot, because I know it has been for sale, you know, they had to do certain requirements, because you can't push water onto somebody else. Anybody, you build a house, you can't push water onto your neighbors. So it needs to be to code, basically. But when we built that new storm drain out there, we had dropped in some catch basins up front there. So when we ever got those rains, and we haven't, you know, fortunately haven't got those rains to see if it was designed to collect more water than what was intended. And hopefully that helps the situation. In any given infrastructure, Mother Nature usually will win if you're in a battle her, you know, and you can't build something massive to have the projections. If we've got a 10-inch rain in 3 hours, you can't stop that. I don't care how many drains you have, I don't care how many ditches you have, the water's going to run everywhere. And now, I don't believe it's wetlands in the area that you're speaking of. We had talked about putting a retention pond in, but that was with a completely different plan.
That was my understanding.
Well, that was with a completely different plan. We changed that plan and went a whole different direction. And,
well, they had said that the EPA came in and mandated that they had to separate the sewers, the storm sewer and sanitary
right,
sewer.
Mr. Baker had just addressed that with all the towns around here, right?
I'm sorry?
We are under an EPA mandate to separate our storm and sanitary sewer.
And they did that there already.
The whole road.
It appears, now I was told before I bought the house, it appears that that has taken care of the water issue.
We sure hope. We spend a lot of money to do that in certain rain events. Now, if there's a rain event,
I understand, sir, and I'm not good, but I was also told that that property was wetland, and it's my understanding that you just can't go and do anything with it.
That term of it was used loosely then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether it was by me or whatever.
It's not like a federally declared wetland.
Okay.
Designated. When we bought it from
not.
the people that owned it before, it was just farmland. We just haven't farmed it since we've owned it. We just keep it moved down. But it was never anything other than farmland.
Okay. I am concerned about what may go behind there. I wouldn't like something that...
Just so you know, I don't want to put it back there. I'd rather put it on the ground already. I'm just trying to get utilities behind passing ground. Okay. And then they brought up in a meeting that they have sewer. They put a 6-inch sewer already stubbed in. You can sleep tonight. I'm not ready.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to, you know,
You're a concerned neighbor, and I understand. You want to voice your opinion.
But I'm such a new resident here. I don't know the ins and outs.
You're fine.
I haven't lived in a city for 30 years, so.
That's okay.
No worries. The only thing I want you to do is smile at that Newtown sign when you drive by.
Okay, we'll do that.
I appreciate you bringing that up, you know.
I'm sorry?
That was a concern, you know, the residents out there with the flooding.
Well, I wouldn't just, I was under the impression that it was wetland to start with. But I just wouldn't want anything to go in behind there. Not that I'm rich or anything, but...
Well, the Tippman family owned that farm property behind there, and when we came to them from the very beginning and asked if we could change anything or do, they were very favorable with the city doing some changes to their field and to our infrastructure. We didn't go that route. We went a whole different route with the separation project up by the road. So the catch basin's there. If the rain comes through there and it does get a little bit heavy, Our goal was to catch that rain and get it into the pipe and out to the creeks outside the town.
Are you telling me that there's a drain back in that acreage?
Not in the back, no. Up front by your driveway there.
Okay, okay. Okay.
Thank you, Peggy, for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other business from anyone?
Making a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Eric would be proud.
Roll call, please.
Ridgway?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Mara?
Yep. Makes a motion for more cough drops.
Thank you for everyone that came sick.
More tussin.